everybody. My name is E-Double. Their name is PJ Harvey. Let's go.
Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today I am back for a brand new video, and that's of course going to be the SPL rumours. Now this was a subscriber requested video, so if you want to make sure to get your sort of suggestions in, if you want to see a video for me to cover, do what this guy did, drop it down in the comments and I'll certainly do that. So this one's for you, man. I'll probably put your name up in sort of like the video or something just now. Right, so it's just going to be the rumours now. I've tried to keep it, you're probably looking at the bench and saying it's very unstacked. That's because I've tried to get the ones that's actually proper concrete, it's not just been silly rumours. And let's talk about Vorm. Now this rumour definitely won't be happening. It was apparently getting very close over the last week, but with Lloris getting injured now, he's definitely not on the move. I think Lloris is going to miss the next 2 or 3 weeks, so Vorm's definitely in there and he's definitely staying. So unfortunately Celtic fans, I believe he signed someone from Nottingham Forest instead now. Moving on to the next player, it's someone that's been sort of well known in the last year since he sort of hit his form, that he was about to join St Mirren and he blew. It's quite a funny story actually. He didn't want to play for St Mirren after playing there, so he tried to like play bad, he tried to miss his planes, he tried to turn up late and stuff like that just so he wouldn't get signed. So it's quite of a dick move by Mahrez, but apparently he didn't like the style of football here. It's a bit too physical, like you get all like the sort of, how's the best words? The hacks, I'd say, maybe, or maybe the people. It's, you know what happened to Oduwe when he came up and played in the Championship? You just get kicked about the place, and I think that's what he was scared of, and that's what he was trying to say. And he didn't like the cold weather, even though it's quite as cold in England and that as well. But that's him, and let's move on to the sort of defence, if you want to call it defence. There's only one concrete defender that's sort of legendary status that I could find. But let's talk about Brad Friedel first now. This was actually requested twice and almost happened twice now. The first time is when he left Blackburn to go to Aston Villa. And then I believe it was when he was leaving Aston Villa as well. Let me just check. Yeah, to Aston Villa to join Spurs. There was 2 sort of concrete offers, especially the first one was an initial 1-year deal, but Spurs offered, I believe, a 3-year deal or a 2-year deal instead. So Brad Friedel went and chose Spurs, and I actually feel really sorry for him because he's absolutely phenomenal. And he joined my team, Spurs. He played absolutely phenomenal and kept Lloris out for the squad for about 3 months, and that's sort of saying something. Let's move on to the right back, and that's going to be Didier Drogba. I think this one's maybe quite as popularly known in that as well, or maybe it's not. And that's going to be the year before he got good. Well, before he got sort of like big. Sorry, I just need to move my dog. Come on, Rocky boy. Good boy. I'm trying to make a video all the time. He just wants to be a YouTube celeb. Right, sorry. Right, so the year before he joined, started hitting highlights with Marseille, they actually had the £8 million move to Celtic on the way, but they actually pulled out of the deal because they couldn't fund up enough space, or he wouldn't get in the team apparently over John Sutton, Chris Sutton, sorry, John Hartson and Larsson. So he went and stayed with Marseille for a year, and then he moved for 28 million to Chelsea the next again year. So unfortunately for you guys. Moving on to the next player, that's in the nest. There's some of the, I don't think maybe many people know, is literally he was getting signed for Alex McLeish. Like the couple of days before he played in the last pre-season game for Barcelona, he actually scored a sort of wonder goal, and that's the goal that cost Rangers and Iniesta for a full season, lads. He was on his way, like it was already agreed, but he scored a wonder goal, and he sort of got the hype round him, and they actually changed their mind and decided this guy's got a future and he's going to stay in the first team. Let's move on to the next player, and that's Sol Campbell now. He's unfortunately wasn't 88 rated when he was about to join Celtic. It's actually, I think let me just check. Sorry, yeah, it was before he actually joined Newcastle. So this is when Sol Campbell just became terrible. That's when he was rumoured to be moving to Celtic. But thankfully, I think he's missed the bullet because he was absolutely dreadful for Newcastle, and then he went to like Notts County and stuff like that as well, and there was some rumours there, but nothing too concrete that I could actually find after that. The main one was before he went to Newcastle, there were some talks and stuff like that between, I believe it was Martin O'Neill or maybe it was Gordon Strachan with taking Campbell for a permanent transfer, but didn't quite happen. Moving to the next player, the most recent transfer rumour, the biggest one. This one isn't quite as concrete, so I'm going to sort of determine the 2 sort of times, because there was one in 2001, you can check the interview that's on YouTube, where he was going to join Rangers, and it had all been agreed. All he was waiting on was the funds. Again, like a lot like Drogba, they needed to sell someone, which was heavily rumoured to be Andre Flo, before they could sign Van Persie, but they didn't get the funds available, and then I believe 6 months later he joined Arsenal. And also, quick mentioning as well, it was heavily rumoured this year as well, but of course there was absolutely no concrete offer, so he's not really in there for this one. It's in the one for 2001 before he joined Arsenal, which was sort of the main one. Moving on to the next players, and this midfield is absolutely godlike. Let's just look at that midfield and just imagine all these players playing in the SPL. Let's talk about Messi first. I think this one is gaining a lot more momentum and stuff like that as he's getting a bit older now, and he's maybe talking more about it. He was rumoured to be joining, and it was actually concrete offer. A lot like in Iniesta. I believe it was the year before or the year after in Iniesta, because Rangers and Barca have seemed to always had a good relationship apparently. He was already signed, sealed, and almost delivered, but the chairman at the time, I believe there was a reshuffling, let me just check them. It was something like the chairman decided to change his mind at the last minute because he was scared to get his injured, or apparently like he heard something, I think it was by Cruyff or something, it says Messi's got like a really big future, he shouldn't go because he is too small. They said he was too small to play in the SPL, and if he did go there he was risking serious injury and a serious setback, so they pulled the deal sort of at the last minute, kind of like in Iniesta. So unfortunately we missed out on Messi. I believe that's when he was 16, 17 years old though, so it wasn't like he was like red hot, but I think he would have still been head and shoulders above everyone in the SPL round about that time, which that would have been about 2003. So he'd have been joining the team then, like with Lovenkrantz and stuff like that. So that would have been really cool to see. Moving on to the next player as well, and this is during sort of the Dutch influx of Rangers. You see Rangers is actually quite, I think they're most popular, or it might be Celtic, they might be the most popular one in this squad. But this was sort of during the booming years of the SPL where it wasn't like terrible state and no one would touch it, kind of is like just now. And Dennis Bergkamp, I think it was the year before Van Persie, nothing too concrete, just like an agreement where something was supposed to be told, but he actually, I believe he said a bad comment in the press about his team that he was playing at, so they pulled the deal and wouldn't let him move. I think they put him on the bench for 6 months or something, or about a year, and then he moved eventually to Arsenal after he got his head screwed back on. Now this one is the most weirdest one I've ever seen, and I didn't actually know this one until I started doing a bit of research. Now Del Piero really wanted to play for Celtic twice, like you can actually see it on Twitter. Right, once when it was Neil Lennon was in charge, when he was leaving Juventus for the very first time, he wanted to join Celtic, and there was talks, and he also put like a come get me sign or like something on Twitter, like it was a hint to join Celtic. He really tried to push that move through. Then I believe he went to like an Australian team, and then the team after that as well, before he went to the next sort of team, he tried to get out there, but the Ronnie Daly or whatever it is rejected the deal, so that's insane. Let's move on to the next player, and the most famous one now, it's all over the papers and stuff, and it's always been, and that's going to be Ronaldinho to St Mirren. I don't know how this would have happened, but this was apparently going to be it was actually very close to happening. This was before like he was sort of like the household name. This was when he was at his PSG days, and they wanted to get him some European football experience. So it was when he first moved to PSG, they were going to immediately loan him back out to St Mirren because they were getting another player instead of him they were going to play. It sort of fell down sort of the last minute. You can sort of check, it's a very interesting story if you want to Google it and stuff like that. But basically, just to sum it up, that it didn't quite pull through. It sort of all fell away at the last minute, like they didn't get the work permits and stuff like that in time, so that's how they missed out on the deal. So that's absolutely crazy. The strike force is actually 2 Rangers players, I actually forgot about that. But the most insane one, I think me and King Jar was talking about it the other day as well, and that's going to be Ronaldo. Now this one was probably the most weirdest one, because this is actually when he was really popular and quite famous. This was in 1999, the year after his sort of like his World Cup heroics for Brazil, when unfortunately they lost in the final. Now when he was leaving Inter Milan, it was before he was joining Inter Milan, he was leaving Barcelona, and he had the choice to choose either Inter Milan or Rangers. And you can see this, he actually talks about it, that he was so close to choosing Rangers, but at the last minute he spoke to his family and stuff like that as well, and they decided to move to Italy just to get a bit more, like it's a bit more like healthy living and like a bit more better weather wise and all that stuff and all that bullshit. I'm actually getting angry thinking about it. That's what cost Rangers. I just think that's really cool that he was going to join Rangers, like sort of when he was good, like like most of these players are when they've been sort of done or has-beens or before they were famous, but this is when Ronaldo was good, the chance was there, he was going to join Rangers. I believe it was only a season-year loan though, and it was something crazy in his contract there where he'd play every minute of every European game. And this was during like the booming years when they were trying to win the Champions League or get as far as they can, like with Hateley and stuff like that. So that's absolutely incredible. His contract offer was absolutely crazy, but unfortunately it fell through just because he wanted to live in Italy instead. Moving on to the next player, that's going to be Samuel Eto'o. Someone, this one's quite weird. This is when he played for Malaga, I believe that's a team, or I might have just got that mixed up with another player, another team, sorry. But this is the year before he joined Barcelona. Now they had, I think it was a £5.3 million bid in for Eto'o, which is insane. Like, where did they get that money from? I think we know. which is quite crazy, but unfortunately they didn't accept the bid and he stayed on for a year. I think he actually rejected it himself because he wanted to stay and prove himself in Spain because he was sort of struggling. The year later he played really well and got his move to Barcelona, and the rest is history. He's one of the best players. So I just want to give you a quick little mention. What would this squad have done, lads? Would this have helped or sort of ruined the careers of these players? I think it would have helped some of them, but like with them being older and stuff like that, I don't think it would have made too much of a difference. But basically this was sort of a fun little squad where hopefully you did enjoy. There's obviously thousands and thousands of other rumours for like Dundee and stuff like that, but nothing too concrete that I could find, so that's why they're out of the squad builder. But overall, these are the ones that's almost joined the SPL, so that's a fun little squad builder, and thank you for the suggestion down in the comments, and if you want to see more, make sure to drop a suggestion down below. I've been CJ Novo 992, thank you for watching, and bye bye.